So yeah, give them all to me. I'll give them to me, baby.
Yeah, to this day, Deb, like I've walked down the streets of New York and I've heard construction workers like whistle at girls. I still hear it to this day.
No, I love it. And that's another thing, especially when they all get in on it. You got validation not from one, but a whole team. Oh, I love those. I could fly and high for the whole month.
I don't know what happens in the rest of the country, but in New York, it definitely still happens.
You start.
I want to feel uncomfortable by it though,
Oh please, fuck off. Listen, I start to perform more. I'll hike it up a little bit more, give it a little bit more boom, 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 boom. Turn around, do a little dance, do a little quick 360. I fucking love.
You go over do the Marilyn Manson, or you go over great. It's like, oh my God, my dress.
Do you know, I used to wait for that to happen. I swear, when I was working in the city, I loved it when I would get a wind blow. Oh, I'm such a hussy.
It could be uncomfortable if, you're not around a lot of people and, you're in, especially if you're kind of in your own zone doing whatever and somebody's calling at you, it can be jarring. It can be very weird. So.
Not for me. Never for me. I control my environments. I'm not scared of men. I love men. I love when men love and acknowledge women too. Like that for me. Obviously there's a like I said, don't follow me home, right? Don't come over and be pushy and weird. But if you're just gonna give me a cackle, oh please, oh I want them all. Next time, send them my way.
I think, as a respecter of women and someone who's, totally respects women, I think it's the thought of you going out of your way to comment on a woman's looks can either be charitable or you're just being kind of horny. There's a thin line between those two categorizations. Sometimes a guy just, genuinely finds you attractive, but sometimes if you're listening at a girl because she's attractive, sure, but if you're saying, yo, that ass looks fat, I want to dig into it, come on, that's doing too much.
How much for sex, basically? Yeah, that's not a.
So listen, this is what happened to me. Okay, I had one moment of such amazing clarity. Okay, and this was my situation. I was younger, and I was driving home on Main Street early in the morning. So it was because I would work overnight, and I got to a stoplight, and at the stoplight there was a guy walking. Now the roads are pretty much cleared off. This guy was looking at me, and he was just oh my, and then he just started walking right over to. Now I had my window rolled down, and now there's a light, and okay, so these lights are long, especially in the morning. So I'm sitting there and I'm prepared, and he walks over to me, he puts his hand on my car, and he looks at me and he goes, I would love to suck on them titties. And I just looked at him, and my first thought was this disgusting pig. What a disgusting pig, right? But then I'm just you know what? Give him a do what you normally do. And I'm thanks, baby. Sorry that I can't help you though. So thank you. Let him move on. So he moved on. Okay. Right after that, I get to my coffee spot. Okay. So I drive right to my coffee spot because I had an hour drive home. And as I'm pulling up to my coffee spot, all of the guys, the men, are outside, and it's, early in the morning, the heat's starting to blare down on them, and they're doing it's not called construction, what is it called? The landscaping. So they were all doing the landscape, and they were bending over, and I was just having, oh my God, they were just so hot, one after another, and I'm thinking like I'm about to whistle. And then all of a sudden I had like this moment, like, oh my God, I am just as disgusting as this man that I passed judgment on earlier. Like I was thinking horrible, and so that's it. So it canceled out. Like no, women are gross too.
Yeah, it's like the stories of like when girls go to a male strip club, like like everyone's seen that, right? Where like men just like we're just quiet and like we're just like watching and hanging out, and maybe we got a lap dance. But at the male strip clubs, they go crazy. They're like yelling and screaming, and they're like touching, and it's like
right.
Women are wild and joints driving. And I used to get dudes all the time on the freeway, on the streets. I'm not joking, telling me pull over, just or holding their fucking number up to the window. I'm not joking, or telling me show me your tits, or just a bunch of shit. Driving, because I used to drive a lot in Southern California, and I never ever pull over. I was always like, fuck that. And for Joe, I pulled over because I knew where he worked. He was in his work vehicle.
What the fuck?
And where I pulled over was right where the sheriff's station and the fire department was, right? And my mom lived right there. Same, like right there on the corner. And that's how we met. But that was the first and only time I thought,
What
oh my God.
Fuck? This guy catcalled her in a car?
Chances, right? That's a trip.
I mean, I prefer a man to be honest about what he's thinking than sort of like mask it. You know, I feel more comfortable with honesty. Not everybody, and I understand that. But for me, I have always preferred the honest truth. If you're gonna be nasty and have like nasty thoughts in your mind, yeah, let me know so I know who you are. You know, and especially when I see you again or whatever else. I enjoy the honesty. You know, and a look in a man's eyes too when you get catcalled or whatever, and you turn around like the whole demeanor. There are definitely, I'm not gonna lie, there are a couple times when they're a little uncomfortable because you see in their eyes that they might be a little crazy and they might be willing to go a little too far. You know, like those are the ones that'll start following you and then start to be pushy or touch you or something like that. You know, but yeah, that's why you carry. You know.
So from New York, I feel like that's what's attractive.
Yeah, you went from I love it all to wait. Some of them follow me. That's why I carry. Like what?
Well, no, the two things could be true. There have definitely been men that are super pushy. Like I said, I don't mind the catcalling, but don't follow me home. Like don't try to, you know. Get
Really? You don't mind it when some random guy follows you home?
That's a no-no.
Yeah, it's a little rude because he's gonna rape and kill you.
Want to know what I did? Then he offered. He said, "Let me take you to dinner right here, but then I can meet you at Starbucks right here." And it was like a block away. And I can meet you at this time, like in an hour. I said, "Oh, okay, that's great." And I knew where he was going to be to do this job, right? So I went and got my mom. I said, let's walk over there real quick. It was like half a block. She said, oh my God, is he hot? I said, yes, he's hot. So we went over there and I stayed away so he wouldn't see me. And my mom walks right up to, I go, don't talk to him, Mom. Don't ruin this for me. She walks right up to him. Hi, honey, how are you? Aren't you handsome? Oh my God, look at your muscles. She did all of that. And he's like, thank you, ma'am. Oh my God, she almost ruined it. I told him, do you remember when my mom did that? He goes, oh yeah. He goes, I saw you, by the way. I'm like, oh my God. Sorry for my rant earlier, guys. What is that?
apologize for being right.
No, I said sorry about my rant. Well, but your room is like literally a social room. Even I've told you. I love how, it's no politics. And then I go on this crazy rant myself.
I promise if it gets to be too much, I'll be like, Sarah, be quiet.
Wait, what did I miss? What did I miss?
She's cool. I love her passion, though. Sarah's very passionate about.
Some little jihadis came in here harassing Sarah, and she.
The big one that I just look forward to, like shitting on Islam, is probably Sarah, because I don't know. It just comes off as really personal to her.
It is very personal. What's so funny is it started with just one, and she was like, I'm blocking you, stop following me, stop backchanneling me, and then another one pops up on the stage, oh, but he loves you. He loves you. Don't block him.
Bima's gone, though. I will tell her later at another time. Like, this is a real thing, guys. I'm not exaggerating. Like, Muslim men, they just love children or young girls. Like, it is true. A lot of them don't practice, like, pedophilia. They don't marry 9 years old. But even if they're 60 and 70 and they want a second or third wife, not all of them have multiple wives. I'll say that too. But even at 60 or 70, they go after someone who's like between 18 and 24. Like, it's almost impossible for a Muslim man to find a woman in her 30s or 40s like attractive. The fact that they were saying like love, 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 that was one of the signs that these fuckers are jihadists, like, because no, they don't find me attractive.
And didn't Muhammad marry her at 6, not 9?
No, married at 6, but he didn't have sex till 9. If you have sex with a 6-year-old, they'll die, David.
Right, I was questioning the marriage part.
No, they do wait till the girl. So they don't. They once you have your first period, you're technically mature enough to marry and have sex. So no, they don't have sex with a girl that hasn't had the first period. And that's why you often hear people say, no, if they married at 9, that's because back then girls would mature earlier. By mature, they mean first period. So let's be clear about that, yeah. Because now a lot of girls don't get their period till like 13 or 14, 15. But no, once you have your first period, you're ready to be married, bear children.
The number's actually going down. Did you know that? The age of first mensees. Like by a lot.
Is it general?
Yeah, since like the 40s, the average age was like 16. Now it's like 11 or something, and nobody really knows why. There's some theories
well,
that...
I would think because of all the... probably because of... since 40s, we don't have media, but I would think going to school, you know what I mean? Like being even westernizing would help that. Like they have reasons for like having schools separate for girls and guys and all that shit.
Well, there's a couple theories, and some of the leading ones are people are a lot heavier than they were back then, and fat is a trigger for puberty.
That absolutely is correct.
Yeah. So another one is
estrogen. Estrogen has a lot to do with it in women, in girls, and yes, to make estrogen, your body needs fat. So yes, that can be a good theory. But I think also like a modernized world, like it's biology for male and female to be attracted to each other, and the more exposure you have, the sooner you do achieve maturity.
Another theory is hormone mimicking chemicals in the environment, but the truth is we don't really know. We just know it's been happening statistically.
Well, remember like when the Taliban retook over Afghanistan? They're like, okay, women or girls, you don't need school anymore. It's like, actually, if you go to school, we're going to hang you, or whatever the punishment is. And remember that, when you didn't have to wear that thing over your face anymore? We're going to bring that back. It's crazy.
You know what's the latest thing, David, they brought back? This came out a couple weeks ago, in less than a month. So in Afghanistan, women, they're not even allowed to pray loud in front of other women. So they're not allowed to pray, like, even in a room of only women.
I'm not going to name the country, but I remember going to this, it's very westernized Arab country. But I remember, I've been there many times. I remember never even hearing a woman speak the entire time, except at the airport and at the hotel. Other than that, I've heard a lot of men in this country speak. I don't think I've ever heard a woman speak.
Well, a lot of these countries, Muslim women are not supposed to speak in public.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would never hear her speak. I would hear men like have conversations like in public, and I would hear the conversation, but the women would never speak, never once.
Now, to be
in
fair,
Arabic countries, Muslim Arabic countries, they have it really, really worse than most of them. Not all. UAE's ideology of jihad, and they, they fund the terrorists and all that, but they're not even extremists. IRGC is moderate. It's moderate to like westernized. Like, we have more educated women than men in Iran, even though not so much with the job, but there's only few jobs women can't have in Iran. Like, women can't be a judge. There are very few jobs that they don't allow women to have. Women are allowed to request to have permission for divorce now. Westernized so much that now, like, they would prison you. I don't know if they would kill you or what, but you could not be a single mother. And they give a birth certificate to single mothers in Iran, like, women in Iran, they can travel, like, they still need some permission. If your father's died, if you're divorced, you don't need a man permission anymore. There's like, it's way different than some of these countries. Like, we don't have that bullshit woman not being able to speak in public. They don't allow you to sing in public. We don't have to cover our face. Iranians don't have to cover their face. Like, they can wear, as long as they cover the body, they can be. And since the Mahsa Amini, the last few years, a lot of them, they don't even wear hair scarf and stuff. Like, but the reason I bring it up is because a lot of these Muslims, they like try to say, I have trauma because IRGC is bad, but the other Islamic countries are good. It's like, no, motherfuckers, we don't have the issues in Iran, those issues that other women have in other parts of the world, like in Muslim countries. And that's probably why you won't find many Persian women, you probably won't find any that will come here and tell you how beautiful Islam is and how like it's equal rights between men and women and stuff. It's like, no, we're not dumb. Like, if there are other women that believe in that, that's just because, like, they've been like abused. When you do a lot of abuse, sometimes people can't tell what's okay, what's not okay. Like, it's not okay for a woman to marry at 9, 10, 11.
Do you think Iran will ever go back to Zoroastrianism?
I don't know about that. I honestly think once IRGC is gone, General, I think majority of Iran will become Christian, actually. I think we're going to have a lot of conversion into Christianity, yeah.
Why? Like,
Why?
I mean, I don't know much about Zoroastrianism other than Freddie Mercury was Zoroastrian, so I feel like you guys should go back to being that.
No, I think Iran is going to become majority Christian post-revolution, whenever it happens. I do believe it's going to become, because majority of Iranians who leave Iran, they are becoming Christians anyways. They're becoming Christians or atheists. We have a lot of atheists, but I think it will still be majority Christian, but we're going to be one of the countries with most atheists in the world because a lot of people are scared to say they don't believe in anything anymore. But I don't know what percentage of those atheists are not really atheists. They're just mad at religion and God, you know. So I think majority Christianity, that's what's going to happen to Iran.
This is the selected works. In poetry, in sevenfold segment.
Yeah, I want more Zoroastrian.
Christian Iran would be so cool. That would be amazing.
What's the percent? Anybody know about what the percentage is Christian versus Muslim in Iran right now?
Very little. I think all Arabic countries, Middle Eastern countries, they're about 5% Christian. But let me check.
I remember reading, and I'm pretty sure it's 99% Muslim.
Less than 2% of Iranians are Christian with it. But what country is this? You know what I mean? Like, it says less than 2%. Or let me see I'll find the number. I'll let you know.
Okay.
You never acknowledge the Likud Party's desire for a greater Israel. So we can all not acknowledge things. Right?
Y'all can get into it. Because the thing is, y'all. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hey, Palu, can you please just give him like a quick rundown of what you've been talking about, and just see his perspective and insight. Kind of get where you want to go.
I'm talking about history, right? And I'm just talking about the generation.
Try to sum it up quick though. Try not to give him the whole.
I don't know how to sum it up because it started. Even if you look at the flags and everything, it's a direct successor of the Arab revolt, and a lot of people don't read the history. But my issue with it is the Arab revolt against the Ottomans, which the Arabs aligned with the Jews and with the British. They made a massive revolt. They made a massive revolt throughout what people call it through South Ottoman area, Iraq, all the way from Iraq, Palestine, Jordan, in the Hijaz, all those areas. The Hashemite family led a massive air revolt against the Ottoman Empire. That was one of the main reasons how the Ottomans lost the Ard al-Muqaddasa. In Arabic, in the Quran, we call it Ard al-Muqaddasa, the Holy Land. The Ottomans were protecting it. As a matter of fact, the Arabs it wasn't how bad it was. The Arabs actually marched into Medina with the British army, with a Trinitarian Christian army. They marched in with them side by side, marched into Medina, the city of the Prophet, with the British to take it over from the Ottomans. They literally opened the gate for them. And they were cheering for that. They're cheering as the Medina itself built. And not only that, the first British army, the Jewish forces, marched with the Arabist forces into Sinai and Palestine. They had the big Sinai-Palestine campaign. They marched into it with them. So they're crying about the Jews and the Zionists, but they're the ones who actually brought in the Zionists to fight the Ottomans just so they could take it, because they deal with. Because look, the Arabs want to take the caliphate. They want to take the caliphate from the Ottomans. They said, "Oh, the Ottomans they shouldn't have the caliphate. It's supposed to be us, to us the Arabs." They literally tried to make their own caliphate called the Sharifain Caliphate. They literally had a mass revolt. They marched into Palestine. They literally marched in with the Jews. This is all documented. Everything I'm saying is easily documented. They marched in Medina, even marched into Medina.
What does that have to do with Palestine, though? Like, you're talking about
I don't see how this justifies conquest. I don't see how this justifies conquest.
And the British rewarded the Hashemites by giving them Jordan.
And how exactly does this justify conquest? How exactly does this justify conquest, guys?
Conquest is separate issue. Hold on. How is this connected to Palestine?
What?
How is this connected to Palestine?
They invaded Palestine. They literally invaded Palestine. The Arab army invaded Palestine with the Jewish army.
Hey, but real quick, I don't.
Go research the Sinai-Palestine campaign in World War I. I'm dead serious. If this is
Bro, if this caliphate was as much of a rule. All right, because you guys want to dance around the idea of rule, and I'll play the semantics game with you. Pre-Israel, why is it that Jewish and Christian monuments and burial grounds were preserved while Palestinians lived there pre-Israel? Since you guys don't want to use the word rule like children.
They do the back.
What are you talking about?
They were South Syrian Arabs.
If this caliphate was such a priority, why did they preserve these sites?
No, because I go ahead. Let Palu answer.
I don't even understand the question. What the hell? I don't even understand the question.
Your argument is that their conquest is justified because they marched into Palestine with the Jews. My question to you is, if their goal of establishing a Muslim caliphate was so important, why is it that they preserved Jewish and Christian sites in those areas pre-Israel?
What the hell they got to do with it? Okay, why would a Muslim caliphate destroy Jewish and Christian sites? Why?
I mean, that's quite literally the boogeyman idea about the danger of a caliphate, because you're saying that it's such a problem to have marched into this area.
Support the caliphate. I have no problem with Islamic.
The thing is, the invasion that happened in 1917 was the British after the Sykes Agreement, right? So the Picot-Sykes Agreement was 1916, Balfour Declaration was 1917. Like, sure, like the Arab revolt was important to overthrow the Ottomans for the British, but then they invaded Palestine in 1917 in the British.
They invaded.
It wasn't the Arabs.
Like I said, the Palestinian newspaper came out in 1911.
That is categorically false. That's categorically false. Everything you said is categorically false. Go read. No, I'm just saying this even quicker research. The Arabs not invade Palestine in the Sinai Palestine campaign. The Arabs are not going to invade Palestine. That is false. The Arabs didn't invade Palestine.
Hold on. Slow down. Look, the Arabs took the help from the British to overthrow the Ottomans. I agree with that. That's facts, right? But I don't think the Arabs. I don't think it was the Arabs that were involved. It was. Let me read. Okay. It was the British. Hold on. Listen. Just read. Look, you took into Ottoman Palestine in 1917, ultimately capturing Jerusalem in December of that year and securing all of Palestine by September 1918. Right? So it wasn't like some Arab guy. It was the British Egyptian.
Go look up who was in the Arab Egyptian. Go look at no stop. No. He's making up a story about it, but I'm gonna tell you why he's doing it.
I'm reading history.
You're not reading history. Look. Okay, who wants me to finish? You want me to break it down?
Go ahead. Yeah, break it down.
Does anybody want to know the truth about what happened? Does anybody want to know the truth? If you don't want to know the truth, it's fine.
Yeah. Had a combo. I'm trying to. All of us are trying to pick up, and then y'all could do like the little sparring.
Yeah. Okay. In that invasion, right? Look at all the components of the invasion force. The invasion force, because he purposely doing this on purpose, right? Yes.
There was a war. Hold on. There was the Axis against the Allies in World War I.
I actually want to tell the history. I actually want to tell the actual history. Can I tell the actual history? Is it possible for us to have a factual historical conversation?
Right.
Anyway.
Invasion makes it sound like it was one-sided. There was a war going on between.
Listen, man. Okay, never mind. It's okay. I guess nobody wants to know the facts. No, I want you to everybody wants to perfectly not know the facts. I don't know why people are scared of the facts. I want to hear it. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
And we can go ahead with the other side after.
Exactly. In that invasion force, right? Go look at all the belligerents in that invasion force. In that invasion force, the soldiers were the British. They had some Australians and New Zealanders, and the rest of a lot of the forces were the Heshmite forces and the Jazz. Go look at the forces involved and the Jewish forces too. And it was called the Jewish Legion or the Jewish forces. We got to think about the Jewish Legion. It was the Jewish Legion, the Heshmite forces with the British in command. But look at the actual personnel. The personnel in that invasion were with the Arab forces. The literal flag they came under was called Hijaz. Go actually look it up. Matter of fact, you can even look it up.
Check it out. Maybe you're right. Okay, I'll check it out.
I am right. No, I am right, and I personally believe that you knew I was right, but you probably tried to. I'm saying no.
Look, I'm not trying to obfuscate anything.
I think you're purposely beating people.
No, I'm not being deceived. Look, I don't have it like an SR. I'm just
Because no, because it's clear history. Everything I'm saying that you purposely did not want to see.
Whoa, okay, listen.
You didn't want to.
Listen. Listen. I'm reading online, okay?
Even in the paper,
listen. Hey, Blue, let him reply. I'll let you reply. Yeah, okay, so I'm reading from this online source. It says that the key participants in the EEF, right, were British forces, primarily consisting of troops of the British Isles, including territorial force soldiers, right, Indian Army, Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, Egyptian forces, and other imperial forces from West Indies, etc., right? So, I mean, like, I'm a little bit unsure about, like, your claim that it was, like, a lot of Arabs that were involved.
I don't know what North Sea was. I'm saying, look at the regular way.
Look at my sources.
Sinai, Palestine campaign. Watch this. Sinai Palestine campaign. Look at the first thing. I'm looking at the first thing in Sinai Palestine campaign. I just Googled it, right? The first thing I said, right? Oh, okay. Belligerents, United Kingdom, British Empire, and it's all the components. India, Australia, New Zealand, Newfoundland, South Africa, Rhodesia, Egypt, Sudan, Cyprus. Next force, Jewish Legion. Next force, Hijaz. Go look it up. Hijaz.
Hello. Okay, I'll check it out. The thing is, my understanding.
I literally went to the first. The first thing on Google. The first thing. I didn't go far.
Okay. Look. I'm not saying that I'm not denying that there was Arab involvement. There might as well. They could have been. And if this is true, what you're saying is true, then sure. Even if I grant you that there was Arab involvement,
You purposely didn't want to be.
no, listen. Look, even if there was Arab involvement, the reality was that the Picot-Sykes Agreement was a secret agreement between the French and the British that they wanted to divide up the Ottoman territories between themselves, right? And then the Balfour Agreement in 1917 was a public declaration of like, we're going to establish a Jewish state, right? That was a public.
You're skipping the legal nation.
Not a state, but Jewish national homeland.
Jewish national homeland, yeah. Sorry.
Balfour was not a public declaration. Matter of fact, they didn't even know about the Balfour Declaration until it was leaked by the Russians. What are you talking about? The Balfour was not a public declaration.
Yeah, that was a pretty secret. But yeah, okay. I'm just saying, I don't hold like the Arabs responsible for something the British did primarily, like what the British planned, like for so like.
The Arabs planned on taking it from the Ottomans. That's what they did. They planned on it. They had a whole thing. Even before the Balfour Agreement, they had a whole.
Okay.
They correspondence.
Okay. Prior to the Picot-Sykes, there was a Macmillan state agreement between the Arabs.
And they came the land from the Ottoman first. They got all the oil. They got the entire Gulf states. They got Oman. No. That wasn't part of that. Oman wasn't part of that. Oman wasn't part of that whole. Wasn't part of that. That was part of the
The Ottoman Empire fell.
Yeah, the main agreement between the British and the Arabs was that we'll help you, like you will become owners of the Holy Lands. We'll help you overthrow the Ottomans. What they didn't offer them was Palestine. It wasn't like the British were saying to the Saudi Arabians like, we'll also give you Palestine. No, but that was something. No, man, the British. How can the British promise Palestine to both Israel, to both the Jews and the Arabs? No, it doesn't make sense.
That's what they did. That's what they did. Duh, they did that.
Something you're not. No, it's not adding up. What you're saying, man.
It is adding up. You're not adding up. You have a problem with reality. You have a problem with honesty.
The Arabs promised Saudi Arabia to the Arabs, okay, and then the Arabs promised Israel to the Jews.
They promised Iraq. They promised Syria. They promised the entire Middle Eastern region.
No. Okay, sure. Give me the facts because I'll literally post the agreements.
You have a problem with reality. There's no point talking to you now. Because you don't know the history.
Okay, fair enough.
You're picking up stuff. You never read anything. You're totally historically literate, but you want to argue. We want to argue. You purposely don't read. Go read a book. Like read a book, man. That's the plan. Read a book. No, people need to read a book. I don't say
He asked you a question and you're
public history. It's public history. Everything I'm saying is plain public history.
Bring the link.
I don't think the British promised Palestine to the Arabs.
McMahon This ain't did. Because you're just making up stories now.
Where's the evidence? So you made a claim.
Yeah, you were.
Where's your evidence?
Okay, wait. I gotta bring. Because look, this is a chat room. I mean, this is a chat thing. I mean, it's not a text space. Hold on. Let me put links in the back for everything now. But yeah, I'm just gonna put links in the back. So I'm just gonna be quiet and put them.
Just for this part.
I'm gonna put links to everything because
Not everything. Just this part. We disagree on this part specifically. Everything else we agree with. Like everything else, right? Like the Blanket Sykes agreement, the McMahon-Hussein agreement, Belfort Declaration. We agree on everything. The part where we disagree, the part that's relevant here, is the part where you're saying that the British promised Palestine to the Arabs. Like I'm not aware of any such agreement. But sure, like the Arabs may have participated in the war, but that doesn't mean that Palestine was promised to the Arabs by the British. It was given to like Israel, right? That it was promised to Israel. But anyway, like so yeah, I mean bring that. Like if you have something like that, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is correct, but
That's what you mean by Palestine, because part of Jordan is also part of Syria is also Palestine. It's not a real defined area. And it was promised to the people who were indigenous to the region. That's the Arab and the Jew. That's what the whole point was of the League of Nations, to decolonize the region and return it to the indigenous people. That means the Arabs and the Jews, because the Turks were colonizers. The Turks lost World War I. League of Nations came and it got all of the empires out of the region while sustaining their business relationships with oil. That's what was going on.
okay, so the link you posted is just telling me that there was a war that took place between the British and the Ottomans. The British, the Arabs and the Ottomans. Like, where's the part where it's saying that, like
it's the British? It's the thing, like, you're purposely lying. If there's all the belligerents in the thing, you're purposely lying. What's the point of lying? I don't get it.
I'm not lying. I'm asking you a question. How is it question of lying?
Like, look, this app is not made for me to put up documents. I'm not putting the links in the back. You act like I can put up documents like this is a talk app. It's a talk app, so I know what you want to do.
You can read it. I mean, I'm listening. Like, I'm not like I'm listening. I can read it. Like, you know.
I read it. I just read it before. I read the same thing. Okay, wait. I'm giving you the Ottomans here, right? Okay, let me put the link of the main correspondence since you want to lie. Boom. Next one. And this one's gonna.
McMahon had said that he promised an independent Arab nation. I believe the Arabs thought that included Palestine, but he said no. It excludes portions of Syria lying to the west of Damascus, Homs, Hama, and Aleppo, which now Palestine, that's part of Palestine, but the majority of Palestine is Jordan and Israel, which lies to the south of the cities he's mentioned. So there could very well have been a misinterpretation between the two.
Whenever they drop.
To be.
Negotiating, get around. It's not like they get live in the car.
Yeah, those very simple. I think it's the reason that Lebanon was important too. I think that because the French wanted to take Lebanon for the Christians, they wanted to make the Crusader state of Lebanon for the gap. To take that area, so they're still proving my case. The Palestine is in Lebanon. Because you're right. What was excluded was Lebanon. Basically, it was Lebanon. That was excluded. So the only thing you can say is that the Arabs were not promised Lebanon. The Hashemites were not promised Lebanon, but they agreed to take those territories, especially Jerusalem in them. So to say the Arabs did not join in the war to fight for Palestine is categorically false.
And the Hijaz province is in Mecca, Medina, and the area around the Red Sea coast. So they were looking at, wow, we get a lot of
translated as the Book of the Eminence of the Way, or the Book of the Way and of how it manifests itself in the world, or simply the Book of the Way. Since it is already well known by its Chinese title, I have let that stand. About Lao Tzu, its author, there's practically nothing to be said. He may have been an older contemporary of Confucius, 551 to 479 BCE. He may have held the position of archive keeper in one of the petty kingdoms of the time. But all the information that has come down to us is highly suspect. Even the meaning of his name is uncertain. The most likely interpretations, the Old Master, or more picturesquely, the Old Boy. Like an Iroquois woodsman, he left no traces. All he left us is his book, the classic manual on the art of living, written in a style of gem-like lucidity, radiant with humor and grace, and large-heartedness and deep wisdom, one of the wonders of the world. People usually think of Lao Tzu as a hermit, a drop to ask, what is the meaning of life? But it's clear from his teachings that he deeply cared about society, if society means the welfare of one's fellow human beings. His book is, among other things, a treatise on the art of government, whether of a country or of a child. The misperception may arise from his insistence on wei wu wei, literally doing, not doing, which has been seen as passivity. Nothing could be further from the truth. A good athlete can enter a state of body awareness in which the right stroke or the right movement happens by itself, effortlessly, without any interference of the conscious will. This is a paradigm for non-action, the purest and most effective form of action. The game plays the game. The poem writes the poem with action. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. Nothing is done because the doer has wholeheartedly vanished into the deed. The fuel has been completely transformed into flame. This nothing is in fact everything. It happens when we trust the intelligence of the universe in the same way that an athlete or a dancer trusts the superior intelligence of the body. Hence Lao Tzu's emphasis on softness. Softness means the opposite of rigidity and is synonymous with suppleness, adaptability, endurance. Anyone who has seen a Tai Chi or Aikido master doing, not doing, will know how powerful this softness is. Lao Tzu's central figure is a man or woman whose life is in perfect harmony with the way things are. This is not an idea, it is a reality. I have seen it. The master has mastered nature, not in the sense of conquering it, but of becoming it. In surrendering to the Tao, in giving up all concepts, judgments, and desires, her mind has grown naturally compassionate. She finds, deep in her own experience, the central truths of the art of living, which are paradoxical only on the surface. That the more truly solitary we are, the more compassionate we can be. The more we let go of what we love, the more present our love becomes. The clearer our insight into what is beyond good and evil, the more we can embody the good. Until finally she is able to say, in all humility, I am the Tao, the truth, the life. The teaching of the Tao Te Ching is moral in the deepest sense, unencumbered by any concept of sin. The master doesn't see evil as a force to resist, but simply as an opaqueness, a state of self-absorption, which is in disharmony with the universal process, so that, as with a dirty window, the light can't shine through. This freedom from moral categories allows him his great compassion for the wicked and the selfish. Thus, the master is available to all people and doesn't reject anyone. He is ready to use all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called embodying the light. What is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. The listener will notice that in the many passages where Lao Tzu describes the master, I've used the pronoun she at least as often as he. The Chinese language doesn't make this kind of distinction. In English, we have to choose. But since we are all potentially the master, since the master is essentially us, I felt it would be untrue to present a male archetype, as other versions have ironically done. Ironically, because of all the great world religions, the teaching of Lao Tzu is by far the most female. Of course, you should feel free throughout the recording to substitute he for she, or vice versa. As to method, I worked from Paul Karas's literal version, which provides English equivalents, often very quaint ones, alongside each of the Chinese ideograms. I also consulted dozens of translations into English, German, and French. But the most essential preparation for my work was a 14 years long course of Zen training, which brought me face to face with Lao Tzu and his true disciples and heirs, the early Chinese Zen masters. With great poetry, the freest translation is sometimes the most faithful. We must try its effect as an English poem, Dr. Johnson said. That is the way to judge of the merit of a translation. I have often been fairly literal, or as literal as one can be with such a subtle, kaleidoscopic book as the Tao Te Ching. But I have also paraphrased, expanded, contracted, interpreted, worked with the text, played with it, until it became embodied in a language that felt genuine to me. If I haven't always translated Lao Tzu's words, my intention has always been to translate his mind. Describing the indescribable, teaching the unteachable, pointing the way to the way. What does Lao Tzu think he is doing here? It can't be done. No way. Hence, Po Chu-yi, poet and stand-up comedian, wrote, "He who talks doesn't know, he who knows doesn't talk." That is what Lao Tzu told us in a book of 5,000 words. If he was the one who knew, how could he have been such a blabbermouth? That's the problem with spiritual teachers. They have to be blabbermouths. But their words are, in the traditional Buddhist metaphor, fingers pointing at the moon. If you watch the finger, you can't see the moon. How meticulous the great masters had to be. A monk asked Matsu, "Why do you teach mind is Buddha?" Matsu said, "To stop a baby from crying." The monk said, "When the crying has stopped, what then?" Matsu said, "Then I teach, not mind, not Buddha." The monk said, "How about someone who isn't attached to either?" Matsu said, "I would tell him, not beings." The monk said, "What if you met a man unattached to all things? What would you tell him?" Matsu said, "I would just let him experience the great Tao." In fact, the truth is right before our eyes, right under our noses. So simple that every child understands it. And yet, as Bankei said, the farther you enter into it, the deeper it is. Where is the way to the way? What a question. Still, for complicated minds, drastic measures are needed. Lao Tzu's book was written as a response out of grandmotherly kindness. According to the oldest biography, Lao Tzu lived for a long time in the country of Chu, but seeing its decline, he departed. When he reached the frontier, the guard said, "Since you are going away, sir, could you write a book to teach me the art of living?" Thereupon, Lao Tzu wrote his book about the Tao and departed. This is legend, but it is an accurate description of the way in which true teaching happens. He who knows doesn't talk, but words are no hindrance for him. He uses them as he would use gardening tools. When someone asks, he answers. Tao Te Ching. 1. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. Yet mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness. The gateway to all understanding. 2. When people see some things as beautiful, other things become ugly. When people see some things as good, other things become bad. Being and non-being create each other. Difficult and easy support each other. Long and short define each other. High and low depend on each other. Before and after follow each other. Therefore the master acts without doing anything and teaches without saying anything. Things arise and she lets them come. Things disappear and she lets them go. She has but doesn't possess, acts but doesn't expect. When her work is done, she forgets it. That is why it lasts forever. 3. If you overesteem great men, people become powerless. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. He helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire, and creates confusion in those who think that they know. Practice not doing, and everything will fall into place. 4. The Tao is like a well, used but never used up. It is like the eternal void, filled with infinite possibilities. It is hidden but always present. I don't know who gave birth to it. It is older than God. 5. The Tao doesn't take sides. It gives birth to both good and evil. The Master doesn't take sides. She welcomes both saints and sinners. The Tao is like a bellows. It is empty, yet infinitely capable. The more is it, the more it produces. The more you talk of it, the less you understand. Hold on to the center. 6. The Tao is called the Great Mother. Empty, yet inexhaustible. It gives birth to infinite worlds. It is always present within you. You can use it any way you want. 7. The Tao is infinite, eternal. Why is it eternal? It was never born, thus it can never die. Why is it infinite? It has no desires for itself, thus it is present for all beings. The Master stays behind. That is why she is ahead. She is detached from all things. That is why she is one with them. Because she has let go of herself, she is perfectly fulfilled. 8. The supreme good is like water, which nourishes all things without trying to. It is content with the low places that people disdain. Thus, it is like the Tao. In dwelling, live close to the ground. In thinking, keep to the simple. In conflict, be fair and generous. In governing, don't try to control. In work, do what you enjoy. In family life, be completely present. When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. 9. Fill your bowl to the brim, and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife, and it will blunt. Chase after money and security, and your heart will never unclench. Care about people's approval, and you will be their prisoner. Do your work, then step back. The only path to serenity. 10. Can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? Can you let your body become supple as a newborn child's? Can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? Giving birth and nourishing, having without possessing, acting with no expectations, leading and not trying to control. This is the supreme virtue. 11. join spokes together in a wheel, but it is the center hole that makes the wagon move. We shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We hammer wood for a house, but it is the inner space that makes it livable. We work with being, but non-being is what we use. 12. Colors blind the eye. Sounds deafen the ear. Flavors numb the taste. Thoughts weaken the mind. Desires wither the heart. The master observes the world, but trusts his inner vision. He allows things to come and go. His heart is open as the sky. 13. Success is as dangerous as failure. Hope is as hollow as fear. What does it mean that success is as dangerous as failure? Whether you go up the ladder or down it, your position is shaky. When you stand with your 2 feet on the ground, you will always keep your balance. What does it mean that hope is as hollow as fear? Hope and fear are both phantoms that arise from thinking of the self. When we don't see the self as self, what do we have to fear? See the world as yourself. Have faith in the way things are. Love the world as yourself. Then you can care for all things. 14. Look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Reach, and it can't be grasped. Above, it isn't bright. Below, it isn't dark. Seamless, unnameable, it returns to the realm of nothing. Form that includes all forms. Image without an image. Subtle, beyond all conception. Approach it, and there is no beginning. Follow it, and there is no end. You can't know it, but you can be it. At ease in your own life. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. 15. The ancient masters were profound and subtle. Their wisdom was unfathomable. There is no way to describe it. All we can describe is their appearance. They were careful as someone crossing an iced-over stream, alert as a warrior in enemy territory, courteous as a guest, fluid as melting ice, shapeable as a block of wood, receptive as a valley, as a glass of water. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? The master doesn't seek fulfillment. Not seeking, not expecting. She is present and can welcome all things. 16. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king, immersed in the wonder of the Tao. You can deal with whatever life brings you. And when death comes, you are ready. 17. When the master governs, the people are hardly aware that he exists. Next best is a leader who is loved. Next, one who is feared. The worst is one who is despised. If you don't trust the people, you make them untrustworthy. The master doesn't talk, he acts. When his work is done, the people say, amazing, we did it, all by ourselves. 18. When the great Tao is forgotten, goodness and piety appear. When the body's intelligence declines, cleverness and knowledge step forth. When there is no peace in the family, filial piety begins. When the country falls into chaos, patriotism is born. 19. Throw away holiness and wisdom, and people will be 100 times happier. Throw away morality and justice, and people will do the right thing. Throw away industry and profit, and there won't be any thieves. If these three aren't enough, just stay at the center of the circle and let all things take their course. 20. Stop thinking and end your problems. What difference between yes and no? What difference between success and failure? Must you value what others value? Avoid what others avoid? How ridiculous. Other people are excited, as though they were at a parade. I alone care. I alone am expressionless, like an infant before it can smile. Other people have what they need. I alone possess nothing. I alone drift about like someone without a home. I am like an idiot. My mind is so empty. Other people are bright. I alone am dark. Other people are sharp. I alone am dull. And other people have a purpose. I alone don't know. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. I am different from ordinary people. I drink from the great mother's breasts. 21. The master keeps her mind always at one with the Tao. That is what gives her her radiance. The Tao is ungraspable. How can her mind be at one with it? Because she doesn't cling to ideas. The Tao is dark and unfathomable. How can it make her radiant? Because she lets it. Since before time and space were, the Tao is. It is beyond is and is not. How do I know this is true? I look inside myself and see. 22. If you want to become whole, let yourself be partial. If you want to become straight, let yourself be crooked. If you want to become full, let yourself be empty. If you want to be reborn, let yourself die. If you want to be given everything, give everything up. The Master, by residing in the Tao, sets an example for all beings. Because he doesn't display himself, people can see his light. Because he has nothing to prove, people can trust his words. Because he doesn't know who he is, people recognize themselves in him. Because he has no goal in mind, everything he does succeeds. When the ancient masters said, if you want to be given everything, give everything up, they weren't using empty phrases. Only in being lived by the Tao can you be truly yourself. 23. Express yourself completely, then keep quiet. Be like the forces of nature. When it blows, there is only wind. When it rains, there is only rain. When the clouds pass, the sun shines through. If you open yourself to the Tao, you are at one with the Tao, and you can embody it completely. If you open yourself to insight, you are at one with insight, and you can use it completely. If you open yourself to loss, you are at one with loss, and you can accept it completely. Open yourself to the Tao, then trust your natural responses, and everything will fall into place. 24. He who stands on tiptoe doesn't stand firm. He who rushes ahead doesn't go far. He who tries to shine dims his own light. He who defines himself can't know who he really is. He who has power over others can't empower himself. He who clings to his work will create nothing that endures. If you want to accord with the Tao, just do your job, then let go. Because he doesn't know who he is. 25. There was something formless and perfect before the universe was born. It is serene, empty, solitary, unchanging, infinite, eternally present. It is the mother of the universe. For lack of a better name, I call it the Tao. It flows through all things, inside and outside, and returns to the origin of all things. The Tao is great. The universe is great. Earth is great. Man is great.
Luke!
These are the four great.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Things are well. The world goes on.
I know.
How many streams am I on?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hello, world. Attention, world.
No one's.
You were in a battlefield.
No one's watching.
Well, everyone's watching, but no one's watching, yes?
Yeah.
How are you?
I can't complain. God manifests in my life, and it's no longer coincidence. It's definitely God signaling to me all the time that he is ever present.
Yes. Attention, soldiers of Christ. The battle is real. The devil is real. Demons are real. Their attacks are real. The battleground is your heart, your mind, your soul. But Christ has already secured your victory. Know your enemy. Yes.
Well, not like that exactly.
Well, maybe it should be. Maybe it should be.
I don't know. I think people who like obsess or talk about demons and
devils and that type of stuff all the time. It's like, that's not the type of intelligence that, you know, I publish. I mean, there's just so much information about God that, you know, if you focus on that, I don't know, people have strange preferences.
Well, I think most people should be more tuned to that than less, to be fair. There is a spiritual warfare that's going around you, you know?
Yeah, but it's happening inside of you more than it's even happening outside of you. I mean, because...
Whoa, the battlefield is your work, your culture, your society, your suffering. Be vigilant.
Be vigilant. Yeah.
So, where do I find these words of wisdom anyway? Like, where do these streams go to?
In the book club.
What book club? And why haven't I not gotten the invitation? It's pretty rude of you.
I always tell people all the time, I'm like, well, I'm done having conversations with people on this app. I am in what's called the book club now, where we read for 10 minutes. We put it on YouTube, and that's how we communicate, because this app is just a bunch of toxic transmission.
Well, I agree. Well, you're ironically kind of... so, the app is toxic because there's not enough dialogue, right?
No, it's toxic because it's not intelligent.
Okay, so the app is toxic because the dialogue is not intelligent enough, yes?
Yep.
Okay. Thus, you need to have your room with them in it.
Well, I'm meditating. People are like, why do you sit in a room all by yourself? It's like, I would rather sit in a room by myself, listen to an audiobook, than go into a room listening to the same people say the same shit over and over and over again. It's crazy.
Well, I agree. If I heard anything about Gaza or Charlie Kirk, I'm probably going to kill myself. And that's a mortal sin.
Yeah, it's too much. I had a friend telling me that he was like bawling his eyes and crying and crying and crying when Charlie Kirk, when Charlie Kirk got died, when he was assassinated. And I was,
it was sad, but maybe we can stop talking about it eventually.
Yeah, people will. I mean, it's life and death, so life moves on. Death is, not an interesting topic. It should be, but it's just life moves on.
It is a bit important, though, your death.
Yeah. I mean, you should contemplate, like Marcus Aurelius talks about it, how everybody present is going to disappear very soon. It's called Marcus Aurelius's Meditations.
Meditations.
It's very good. It's very interesting.
Pre-Christian Rome.
No, post-Christian.
Marcus Aurelius?
Yeah, he killed Christians at the end of his reign because they were being political.
Pre-Christian in the sense that pre-Constantine.
I mean, you could say he's a pre-Christian moralist, like pagan moralist, but he's actually post-Christian, but he's still not Christian.
Yes.
He doesn't
Yes,
do
but
it.
before Rome was a Christian state.
Correct.
Yeah. Yes, very interesting. I think the saints and mystics are more interesting, but yeah, they got some things right, those people.
Yeah.
Marcus Aurelius.
They were trying to understand life after death, how to live the best life. And the cool thing is they put it all in books because they wanted to transmit that information to future people, because they knew that it's intelligence, and if they don't put it in a book, then that intelligence disappears.
Yes, and they also just got access to that technology. It was very hard to, and they had the resources and time to do it. Most people did not have that, so yeah. There was, the Pax Romana, the Greek language, and then later on the printing press. So yeah, there's reasons why these people are, yeah. It's even more interesting when you look at people further back who wrote stuff down. You know, essentially the further back stuff that gets written down, the more important it is, right? Because it's easy to write things down now, so you can write anything down. But back then it was harder, so more important things were written.
Yeah, like have you ever read Socrates or Plato?
No, I mean in high school maybe, yeah.
I was listening to Alan Watts. He was saying, you know, everything that exists, if it didn't exist, then like nothing would be the way that it is. So he was saying that everything exists because of Socrates. I mean, you could say anybody, you could say Jesus, you could say, you know, there's a lot of different things you could say for the primal reason, but Socrates is included in that. So it's just kind of interesting to read Socrates or Aristotle.
Perennialism type thing. Yeah. I mean, it's true in so much as that there's only one God and the truth comes from that God, but not every truth is the full truth, right?
Well, this is all philosophy. And so the problem with being Jesus, you know, being all or nothing all the time about Jesus is philosophy is so wide and vast that there's so much overlay and overlap between God and his prophets or other deities, etc. So to me, a lot of this is like neurolinguistic programming and dialectic therapy on self-improvement. And
so yeah, this is actually what makes Jesus unique and interesting. Actually, it's the opposite, I think, in my opinion.
Is what?
The fact that Jesus, okay, so there's all this overlap, right? But they all overlap with Jesus, right? Jesus is 100%. All the others are kind of 80-20, you know? That's what makes Christ kind of interesting.
Yeah, Christ. But see, Christ in many ways borrowed from Buddhism, borrowed from Hinduism, because Christianity and Judaism weren't the only things happening. I mean,
No. They all borrowed from God, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone borrowed from God. Some of them got them some right, and Jesus got it 100% right. That's the argument for Christ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I can anyone, you know, dismantle that argument? I'm not sure. If they can, you know, I'll be the first to sacrifice maybe the altar of Baal or whatever.
Well, see,
that was my whole journey towards Christianity, right? Is like I started in the occults and New Age and stuff, and I read all these other philosophies, and like they all kind of had these parts that were ringing true. And I read all the Gnostic Gospels, right? And like the only thing that was like 100% true all the time was like, okay, the canon of the Catholic Church. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, that seems like a bit of a coincidence.
well, see, I wouldn't want to have to go to somebody's church to listen to them reading the Bible, New Testament or Old Testament, and you know, approaching God that way. I mean, I've gone the route of fellowship, but at this point, I mean, I'm really trying to optimize my time for maximum relaxation, education, health, and you know, there's an opportunity cost for every involvement or participation.
There is, but the opportunity cost is if you don't believe in the resurrection in the life thereafter, you're not really making the right decisions about what is costly, right? If you do believe, then clearly it's a great investment of time.
Well, I mean, like, if you believe, I'm just saying that, like, going to somebody's organization to give your time, like, I'm interested in doing a charity, but I don't think I can do charity as good as I can. See, real good charity is education, because
I agree.
that's teaching somebody how to fish.
It's actually engagement, interaction, mentorship, guidance. Yeah.
Well, why don't you join my book club and read to me and to our YouTube audience and our Clubhouse audience?
I can't read. I'm kind of retarded. Yeah.
You're retard?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. I mean, I can read, but I choose not to. I mean, I read, but not aloud. I don't like to read aloud, essentially. I read a lot, but not aloud. I like to make other people read stuff, though. That's fun.
Well, do you think words are technology or sounds are technically technology? In a way?
I mean, yeah. So if you look at how sort of information has developed over time, right? It's essentially we had kind of oral tradition, which was unable to be kind of retained for more than a little while. And then we had kind of written tradition and institutions. So yeah, it is technology. It advances over time.
Well, if you're not willing to read out loud, I would say that you can't get as close to the God as you'd like to, because in the beginning, it was the Word, and the Word created, the darkness and the light and the earth and the firmament. So
I'm capable of doing it. I'm just not the most eloquent.
yeah, but you got to understand, you should do it, because when you read out loud, see, life and your success in life in many ways comes down to sound manipulation, which is really just words. And so if you want to get with the Spirit, reading wisdom out loud is a way to just educate yourself and bring the Holy Spirit, into your presence. And so it's rapid fire, and a lot of people will just waste their whole lives having generalized conversations, but never reading the divine word, which is, sacred scripture.
Well, obviously I read it. I just don't read it out loud. I read it all the time.
But I'm in a book club, and our only rule is that we read out loud for 10 minutes. Why wouldn't you want to be a part of my book club?
No, I do want to. I just, I'll listen and talk, and maybe read sometimes, but yeah. So St. Teresa of Avila would disagree with you about spoken prayer being better than interior prayer.
Well, the thing is, after you read it and record it, then you can just listen to the replay, and then it becomes more interior, because what you're doing is you're programming your brain. Your brain is a computer, and so if you want a software update, the quickest and easiest way to do it is to read a book in the book club and record it, and then listen to the replay, and then you're like, wow, because
I listen to lots of books. I listen to 50 books a year or something.
Well, the thing is, there's a difference between listening to an audiobook, and then there's a huge difference when you create your own audiobook. One way is like listening to a saint, and then the next way is like becoming a saint.
Well, yeah, you have to be able to explain the saint to someone. Yes. But
Well,
I think there's...
I've got these... Also, don't forget, a lot of this...
It's not necessary stuff.
It is. It's hypnosis. You got to understand what hypnosis is. Hypnosis is just psychological programming, and your brain is a computer system. You can update it with software, but Bible flashcards is like a quick cheat sheet to get the Holy Spirit injected into your consciousness.
I studied industrial psychology, right?
Well, I've studied hypnosis.
Me too. So I understand what you're saying, but yeah. Getting someone to say it is important, yes. But actually getting them to explain it is actually even more important. If they can make the argument themselves, then it's the best kind of top level. Reading it back to you is good, but having them internalize it and explain it is actually way better. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just in my kitchen real quick. So I've been reading poetry and, again, Luke, a lot of this is just for self-development, personal development, content creation.
What kind of poetry? Garbage poetry or like actually useful poetry?
No, top-notch poetry. Top-notch.
Like what? Like what?
I can read you some if you want to hear, if you want to join the book club.
Well, I'd like to know what the authors are and the subjects.
Yeah, his name is Frater Perturabo, and the topic is hard to describe, but it's divine.
Is it spiritual in nature?
It's all spiritual, yeah.
Okay. Sounds useful.
And I've been recording and putting it on YouTube all day today. I put up about 30 videos.
Yeah, I think all the mystical poetry is good, you know?
I agree.
Whatever culture. But I do think that the Psalms are kind of the peak, mysticism Psalms.
Well, I'm going to read something to you which is going to knock your socks off.
Okay, well then I'll read something to you in return.
Well, welcome to the book club.
Well, can I make you read my thing? I'll try to read it.
No, you got to read it. Because all of this is self-development. Like, I'm here to build men in, spiritual righteousness and education, as are you. And the only way to do that, a lot of people on this app don't understand that complaining doesn't work. If you want to change the world, you have to change yourself. So
obviously, St. Francis rebuilt my church. You know that story?
I don't know. Maybe you could read it in the book club.
Yes. Well, St. Francis had an experience with God, right? He was a poor monk, right? And he was kind of a nobody. He was walking on a mountain, and God came to him and said, St. Francis, rebuild my church. And he was kind of like, do I fix the gates? Like, what do I want to do? Like, do I put the rocks back together? And so in the process of fixing the gate, he fixed the entire church as an institution. So, yeah.
I've seen the movie. It's interesting. Alec Guinness plays the Pope, and then St. Francis goes before the Pope, and they're all dressed up like the craziest outfits you've ever seen. Have you ever seen that clip?
I've not seen the movie.
Oh, dude, you got to see this.
I've just read The Saints.
Let me give you the clip, because when you see this, you're gonna be like, "Whoa, dude!" Like, if it's accurate, it's kind of interesting. Let me see it. It's St. Francis visits the Pope movie.
Yeah, well, the Pope's kind of, the church has a bad history of basically hating the saints until they're dead. Yeah.
Okay, check out that link. Which you see how they dress, because it's basically a royal court. And so you have this homeless, Christian come in, and the Pope is so understanding that he embraces them. And everybody is just like, wow, this is a trip, So there's a lot of far out stuff in Christianity. It's not necessarily conservative. It can be very liberal, and at the same time very conservative at the same time. But anyways,
Yeah, I need this clip. How do I save it without? Okay.
what's so cool? Alec Guinness plays the Pope, which is cool. You know, he was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes, let me see even better. There's a whole lineage of actors who are in on this thing. Liam Neeson, it's all Star Wars people, you know? They're in on it, you know? Liam Neeson, Alec Guinness, all the Star Wars people are kind of in on this. If you haven't gotten that, they're telling a story of mysticism through pop culture.
Okay, you ready for this poem?
I am. How long is it?
It's 3 minutes.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, it's called. Let's see. Maybe I didn't finish this one. Yeah, I didn't. So this is called the Sevenfold Sacrament. I'm just gonna read the last part, and then I'll move into the new poem, which.
Who's it by?
Frater Perdurabo, edited by Martin Booth.
Who are these people?
Oh, you have to Google it. I don't work. Let me Google that for you. I'm in the book club. Here we go. Over the church, now gray, I rose up to greet the ray that thrilled through elm and chestnut, lit the grass, made diamonds of it, bade the wares long smile of spray, leap with laughter for the day. The birds woke all over the weald, the sullen peasants slouched afield, the lilies swayed before the breeze that murmured matins in the trees. The trout leapt in the shingly shallows, soared skyward the great sun that hallows the pagan shrines of labor and light as the moon consecrates the night. Labor is corn and love is wine, and both are blessed in the shrine. Nor is he for priest designed who partakes only in one kind. The musing, joyous, twice across, under the where I swam, to toss the spray back, then the meadows claim the foot's fleet ecstasy aflame. And having uttered my thanksgiving, thus for the sacrament of living, I lit my pipe and made my way to breakfast and the labor of the day.
Yeah, this is great. Please send it to me. It's amazing.
Okay, this is called Wheat and Wine. Clear.
Message it, please.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you after this. Clear, deep.
Can you do it now?
I can't. I'm recording on YouTube. This is a 3-minute clip. Clear, deep, and blue, the sky is silvered by the morn, and where the dewdrop's eye catches its brilliancy, strange lights and hues are born. I have seen 12 colors hover on a single spray of thorn. There is a great gray tower cut clear against the deep. In the sun's wakening hour, I think it has the power to touch the soul of sleep with its tender thought and bid me to wake for joy and weep. This night I am earlier, no drowsy thoughts drew nigh at eve to make demur that I be minister to Cynthia maidenly. All night I have watched her sail through a black and silver sky. Within my soul there fight too full in urgent streams, works woe and dreams delight. Like snow and sun they smite. Days battle hard with dreams. On a world of misty beauty, the aurora clearly beams. So labor fought with pride and love with idleness. My soul was torn and tried with the impassioned tide, storm and deathly stress. I had never dreamed a lily should arise amid the press. That's it. That's the book club.
Thrilled through elm and chestnut,
some issues now. Technical issues.
What was that called?
Can you please send me that, or else you won't do it.
Like
if you don't know, so.
Yeah, let me just type it in the chat for you.
Yes, in the chat will be good. It's funny. This is the kind of poetry that I think Lewis Carroll was making fun of in Jabberwocky, you know? Do you know the poem Jabberwocky?
Yeah.
'Twas Brig and the Stilly Toes did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the bark groves and the moonbrass did upgrade. Yeah. So you didn't send it, but not yet. Please.
Dude, I put it in the chat.
You did? I need this stuff because I have a very niche use case. Oh, it's Aleister Crowley, Selected Poems, edited by Martin Booth.
Yeah, his magic name is Frater Perdurabo.
You didn't know this is Aleister Crowley.
I know, I told you it was Frater Perdurabo.
Yeah.
Doesn't change anything. These are like, adult intellectual poems. They're not like Luciferian, satanic, demon worshipping witch Wicca shit.
No, Aleister Crowley is kind of
You heard, dude, these are selected poems. This isn't all of his like occult stuff. These are like more professional poems. Anyways, it's from a book.
What poem were you reading specifically?
It was called Weed and Wine.
Weed and Wine.
Wheat
and Wine.
But it's from the collected works. Anyways, it's a book. I just got it in the mail. I just bought it on eBay for $20. So go on eBay, buy yourself a copy if you like it.
Yes, I like the yes.
Well, you're on my podcast, dude. You just got 200 views.
Nice. Hello, podcast.
I think you were in my room the other day. I was playing Dao De Jing. You want to hear some of that? I'm at 38 minutes out of an hour and 40 meditation into the Tao.
Well, I think you should listen to some saints that have some realism to speak.
Listen, I'm over here doing work. If you want to play something in the book club and use 3 to 10 minutes, that's what the book club is for. So if you have something queued up or you want to read something in the book club, I will record it. Okay, go ahead.
When is the book club now?
The book club is always now.
We are capable of turning good into evil, of abandoning the good for evil, of attributing to ourselves good that we do not have or has been loaned to us, of justifying our wrongdoing and in coddling our wrongdoing, of scorning the highest good. With this clearly understood, 1, you must never flatter yourself for whatever good you might notice in yourself, because everything good comes to you from God, and you need to give that honor and glory to Him. 2, do not complain about offenses done to you, no matter where they come from. 3, you must forgive everyone with Christian charity, remembering the example of our Redeemer who forgave even those who crucified Him. 4, you must always humble yourself before God because of your spiritual poverty. 5, you must not be surprised at all your weaknesses or imperfections, but recognizing who you are, and you need to blush at your inconsistency and unfaithfulness to God. There we go. That's why I don't like reading aloud.
Okay, do you want to read anything else? Do you want to read anything else? Because you got 3 minutes on my YouTube. We're at 1 minute and 25 seconds.
No, I just wanted to read a brief, poignant, inspirational piece of text. It would be better if you read it. That's what I was saying in the first place, but it's what it is.
All right, well, give me a summary of what you just read. Like, give me the compression.
So the compression is that anything good is a reflection of God. Okay? So anything that you feel that you've done good is actually just a reflection of God. And so the opposite of that is that anything evil is probably a reflection of you. That's the first point. The second point is to not complain about anything, no matter where it comes from. It's a very good point. Stop complaining. The third point is to forgive everyone with Christian charity. And you do that in the example of our Savior who forgave others, even those who crucified him, right? So I think that's a great example of how you should forgive people. The fourth point that he's trying to make here is that you must be always humble because we are spiritually poor. We don't have what God has. And then the conclusion here is
and in coddling
knowing all this, don't be surprised that you're weak and imperfect and that you're going to be, inconsistent and unfaithful to God because we're not capable of being God.
Well, not like that, exactly.
Okay, any suggestions on what you want to title this YouTube video?
With this clearly understood. That's the title. With this clearly understood. Saint Padre Pio. With this clearly understood, Saint Padre Pio. That'd be my marketing title.
Yeah, I had this SMS business where I had like BibleVerses.com and QuranVerses.com, etc. And it was like a direct response campaign on Google to, arbitrage ad spend versus cell phone subscription on premium SMS. But I just could not afford it all anymore. I had to shut it all down, but I had spent a lot of money getting it all set up. And eventually I had to give up on it, but it was pretty smart. It could have been a business.
Well, that's why we need teams. We need teams of people. I'm the same thing. I can get things going, but it's hard to keep them going. Well, you have to develop a skill as a recruiter, as a leader, as a person that brings other people to an idea. Or else, because everyone has ideas. Ideas are kind of worthless. Execution is the priceless part.
You should check out my friend's business. It's called Pronunciation Workshop. And he teaches international students how to speak American English. And he's making like a lot of money. He advertises on Meta and Google, etc. And it's a good business. He's a speech therapist. And so he really understands technical aspects of speech and therapy for people who have speech impediments or want to learn how to speak American English. But what I realized is, what he really is doing? He's doing hypnosis. He's making people deeply relaxed, and they keep coming back to him to speak to him because he has that ability to put people into a deeply relaxed state. And that's what most people want. There's no way that some people will ever be able to speak English in the way that we speak it, if they're from China or Japan or whatever. No matter how hard you try, you're always going to have an accent.
Well, same with us and Chinese, right? So
yeah.
I can barely speak English, so that's one thing.
But what I find interesting about my friend's business is he's a hypnotist, and most people think they're signing up to learn how to speak American English, but what they're really doing is falling for a hypnosis trap or scheme or business. Clubhouse is the same thing. People enter into what they call conversational hypnosis, which is just fully automated hypnosis, where people will just keep talking and talking and talking, like chillism room or etc. It never ends because all communication is hypnosis.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's a theory at this point anymore. I think it's like a communication maxim or aphorism or proof. I don't know. I mean, there have to be some absolutes with regards to communication or communication theory.
So I have some thoughts on my idea is brilliant, but it just didn't work out thing. Because I hear this a lot, and I've had the same thing. More important than the idea, right? Because like everyone has good ideas, actually. What makes people unique is the ability to execute on them.
Well, two ways that I've made money is like buying and selling tickets, scalping tickets, arbitraging tickets, as well as like arbitraging Google ads. So if I'll spend $200 a day, I'll be able to generate $600 a day in AdSense revenue, that type of arbitrage. God, I've made a lot of money in a lot of different ways. And it's not just execution, it's like ease of execution or spamming, where you're getting traffic for nothing, or you're getting traffic for pennies, like nothing. Your cost has to be super low for traffic acquisition. If you can achieve that, basically, it's up to you to try to figure out how to get the highest, revenue per impression. So it's a big business, man. Internet advertising, publishing is fucking trillions of dollars a year. It's huge. It's global. It's like global communication, global spam, whether it's Baidu or Google or Meta. There's all these other platforms like Taboola or, Israel has tons of advertising networks. I've worked in that industry for a lot of years. There's a lot of money to be made in spam advertising and in deceptive advertising. You could claim that if you were to create a very sophisticated, like Jesus Christ direct response advertising company, and you were to make some, like, who's really good at creating direct response ads is St. Jude, when they have a father say, my little girl got diagnosed with leukemia. I just didn't know what to do. Those types of ads, do you know how much money like that ROI generates versus, advertising a fucking muffler shop with brakes or something? Like, the whole thing is emotionally based, pulls at your heartstrings. And so St. Jude and leukemia research is able to advertise at scale because their ROI on that ad spend is some of the highest in the industry. So it's competitive.
So I do know a little bit about online ads. Do you know how ad markets work?
Like real-time bidding exchanges. Yeah. Double click that acquisition in Google's content display network. I used to work at Google, and I haven't used Google products in quite a while. I've recently been buying Meta ads on Instagram, and they keep rejecting my ads. I'm like, this is so stupid. Like, why the fuck aren't they accepting these ads? These are just generic political ads, but they're rejecting them.
Well, yeah, there's not a great profit incentive for them for the political risk of having political ads. So yeah, you have to be in the club to run them.
Anyways, I'm more interested in the book club, but I am making headway into politics. We did get over 1,100 signatures. We only need 700. So we will.
On what? What are you trying to pass?
I'm running for U.S. Congress in the 16th district, so I'm going to be on the ballot March 17th.
Okay, interesting. So when you get elected, can I get your phone number? Get a call?
Yeah, dude, you can come to Congress and come to my office and join the book club in person. We can read books.
Good offer.
Yeah, you can read the book.
I might have to support your campaign.
Yeah.
If it's going well.
Yeah, click my profile, send another $200, and then you can come to Congress and read the Book of Luke.
Yes.
all over the Capitol building.
Only if it's going well, though. If it's not going well, then F off.
It's going well. Like we've already hit. We will see if they're able to defeat our ballots, because I'm pretty sure that our ballots are legitimate, or our petitions are legitimate, and I don't know. I'm very optimistic that we're going to get on the ballot.
Good. Politics are a bit scary.
Not really. Charlie Kirk, all he did was Clubhouse in public, and somebody blew his fucking head off. So that's scary. Coming on Clubhouse, is not scary. I mean, it's just not. So, I mean, this is what Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus says, that currently the art of philosophy is not popular in Rome, meaning that it's too dangerous to play the devil's advocate and be a troll or a gaslighter, to prove to people that they're wasting their time.
Do you have an email address, or how can I send you something longer? I guess I send you a link maybe on here.
It's John Kitover 2025@gmail.com, or you can just message me on Instagram.
I don't have your Instagram.
It's just my name, John Kitover.
Okay, I'll find you on Instagram. Please don't share my Instagram on your stream, though. Okay?
Yeah, don't say it then.
Well, I'm not going to.
John Kitover.
Okay, I sent you a request.
Vote John Kitover.
Yeah, I got you.
No, I'm updating my Instagram.
The app, you mean?
Oh no, actually I'm updating X.
So here's some words of wisdom for you. Let's see. That nice fake English accent. Can you read this link or no?
What is it?
It's some writing of mine.
You wrote it?
Yeah.
Oh, well then you should read it.
Well, no, I can't read. I can write, but I can't read. I'm kind of illiterate.
You're illiterate. You just read.
Yeah. Yeah, but not really.
Well, how long is it?
It's one page. You don't have to read it, but
What's it
maybe
about?
It'll sit somewhere.
What's it about? It'll sit in the ether on my YouTube. What's it about?
It's about ideas are being worthless and execution being priceless.
So that's the summary?
Yes.
Can you expand on that summary?
A brilliant idea without execution is no more than a dream. Ideas, everyone has good ideas, but the execution of those ideas are very valuable. So everyone has a great idea that they don't want to share, but that idea is maybe not that good, it turns out. And all good ideas basically become something. And you have to read more if you want to.
Well, see, if you want to accomplish something without action, in many ways, communication is just weightless. And all these apps and all these cell phones, you can actually achieve quite a bit by doing nothing, but just by hypnosis or influence, the theory of influence through communication.
Propaganda and marketing, yes, I understand this, yes.
Yeah, mind control, because all communication is suggestion, and you have to find ways to persuade people to do what you want them to do. The number one way to persuade anybody to do anything is to send them money.
Well, Well, yes and no. There's actually better ways. I mean,
No, I found no better way to get people to do what you want them to do is if you tell them.
So yes, you money is the thing, but you can actually use like. Have you heard like foot in the door technique?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah. So there's studies on this, right? So like you can actually use money more strategically than you think. Just sending money is good, but if you use money plus strategy, even better.
Yeah.
Money is kind of the incentive. So you know about the CIA's how they evaluate people, what their motivations are. It's called MICE or rights. Reward, ideology, coercion, and what's the last one? Reward, ideology, coercion. What's the last one? Reward, ideology, coercion, and ego. Obviously, ego. Ego is very important. So you can kind of understand what motivates someone to do something, right? Are you with me, John?
Mm-hmm.
So you can look at someone and say, okay, what motivates them? Is it money? Is it ideology? Is it coercion? Or is it ego?
Mm.
You can break it down, right? So most people, it's mostly money and ego. There's a scant few where it's ideology and coercion, but most people it's money and ego.
See, there's no such thing as ego, though.
Self-perception and reputation.
Yeah. But,
yeah.
I mean, the thing about ego, though, is people who are seeking enlightenment or wisdom, either they've accomplished what you could call ego death, which is really the elimination of the word because. And there's no longer faith or belief, there's certainty. So if you really want to become, that alpha primate or that Christian soldier, it's basically, it takes fear out of life. And like FDR said, the only thing you have to fear is fear itself. So
yeah, I actually think it's a weak place to be. Weakness is actually a virtue.
So the joy of the law is strength, and strength is the joy of the law, meaning that, Knight Templars went to battle with beatific visions of Christ, and so the question is, how do you create courage? How do you create strength or force of will? And, the Bible can help you accomplish that.
It can. It says, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
So that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weakness, in insult, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I'm weak, I'm strong.
Yeah, that makes sense. But see, it's only because there's the pairing of the opposites where the strength comes into play because
Well, that's spirituality in a nutshell, right? It's a mirror effect. The image of God. It's all mirroring
yeah.
and balance, mirroring and balance.
Also integrity, ethics or moral virtue and the cultivation of that is not something which can just be taught in a classroom. It has to be, you can say you have to learn it the hard way, but really you have to study it. And it's very difficult to find information on ethics.
It's the master and apprentice relationship. You can fall, but not all the way. Right? Like as a student.
Well, the teacher learns from the experience as well as the student, but
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole master and apprentice relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. You're never the master is the eternal student. And yeah, there's not a lot that talks about this. It's true. And it's very important because everyone needs a mentor, you know?
See, if you want a mentor, though, you are your own best mentor. And that's why I do a lot of these recordings, because there's no better mentor than yourself. The saying is, if you can master others, you are strong. If you can master yourself, you are truly powerful. So it's about self-control, which is really just another word for focused concentration. Or how do you actually eliminate all the distractions from your spotlight? And you are a light. But this app and the people on it are engaged in a nefarious game to essentially waste all their time and not cultivate wisdom or education. And it's really just it's just lazy. It's couch potato behavior. And I have been doing a pretty good job of breaking free from it. I'm kind of surprised. I don't miss it. I don't miss it because I'm reading books and I'm being productive and I'm getting more organized, and everything is is highly organized in my life at this moment. And I just know that listening to a lot of the people that I've listened to on this app, even if I were to record them and put them on YouTube, it's a waste of my time at this point, and it's a waste of their time to even be on my YouTube. So, there's so much. You have no idea how much time I've spent recording Clubhouse and putting it onto YouTube. You have no idea how many fucking videos. 25,000 videos.
Yeah, but why do that?
Because it's like a psychological observational opportunity that, you can't get anywhere else. You can go to X Spaces and listen to people on there, but here it's a smaller community, and I'm like kind of focusing on certain people, their communication, their behavior, how they stir the pot, I'm just trying to observe communication real time with real people.
But it's only interesting because it's not being sorry. It's only interesting because it's not being observed. Yes?
What? You're mumbling.
It's only interesting because it's not being observed.
It's interesting to me because I'm creating it. And I think...
But it loses interest. It's why I don't talk on replays normally.
Well, I'm just trying to say that I've created a large library catalog of Clubhouse users one-to-one, meaning that I filmed the phone with Anonymous, and the thing that pretty much was the turning point for me, literally turning point, was listening to people celebrate Charlie Kirk's murder. That was to me where I was like, okay, I think I've reached the bottom of the barrel. I can't record anything more egregious than this. It can only be up from here, you know? So I'm like, what? Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like catching people on their worst day. I really don't like it at all.
It's something to put in the memory banks and the history books because.
No, it is, but isn't. Yeah.
No, it is, because imagine if you could cross-examine that individual and they were to listen to themselves in hindsight and say, ooh, yeah, that did sound bad. You know, like they could course correct in the future if they were to hear the recording. And if you think that the all-seeing eye or God is going to play back to your life, you know, at the gates of heaven before he lets you in and gives you some type of wage effort.
Right?
Yeah, but that's what your government is doing. This is the George Orwell 1985 Big Brother surveillance state, and it's already here. First off, we already have social security numbers and credit scores. We already have a Chinese type of surveillance system. They want to do these digital IDs, but what's the difference? Like, who cares? It's already all out there. Everybody has completely already exposed themselves.
And so you're trying to lean to that more instead of having private places kind of discussing.
Well, I'm a trained military intelligence officer, which means I'm a spy, and there are amateurs.
Are you?
There are amateur spies and there are professional spies. I am a transparent public professional spy. And
what agency?
John Kitover News. I'm a journalist. I'm a filmmaker. Okay. I'm an artist. Okay. I'm a content creator.
Not an actual intelligence agency.
Yeah, I run my own intelligence services. What do you think the news is? It's an intelligence network. I'm being facetious. But everyone here is their own central intelligence agency. That's the point, is we are all the CIA. You know, I mean, are you stupid? Like, are you trying to live your life at the highest level of intelligence? Or are you trying to understand the situation in the game that you're playing in?
No, I get you. I get you. Thus, we should record rooms? ?
Yeah, because you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're damned if you remain silent. Nothing will change the fact that, you know, we're all going through the same gate in a couple hours.
So we use Clubhouse as kind of a proving grounds, you know?
Yeah, you can run experiments here.
Yeah. Don't record them, though.
Well, dude, how do you get observational results unless you record them?
So it's intellectual honesty, right? Like you want to try them out before you play them in the real world. Yeah.
No, see, the point is like, this is just like a private study that these results aren't really being published like professionally. So no one really is looking at any of this stuff, and it'll all just disappear because really.
You think that, but they can pick it up.
Well, what I'm doing, what I'm filming though is intelligence. Like, we're getting views. Like that poem I just read got 112 views. Dude, you know what I did last night is I went out to the bar. They have a big band and a stage, and the glass windows were closed. So I filmed from outside, and then I overlaid Creedence Clearwater Revival. And just because it's a band on a stage, like if you play classic rock and roll from the 60s, it like you can't tell the
Deep fake.
yeah. It's a exactly. It's a deep fake.
Yeah. Okay, so I have you on IG now. It's good.
Yeah. Let me add you back. Better be careful what you ask for.
That's right.
Yeah, I won't say your
You
name.
shall receive.
I didn't say your name.
Please don't. Confirmed. Confirmed.
Yeah, I got this new AI wearable called B Computer, and it's listening to this conversation right now.
Great. I need more fucking bugs.
I'm bugging the bug.
That's the whole thing about you. That's so annoying, you know?
Yeah, but you should be happy that I'm doing this because nobody else is doing this.
Nah, I don't need more people recording me, you know?
No, you need more people in your life who are running experiments around you to basically help you, increase your willpower to achieve, higher states.
No, I don't want to be recorded, yes.
Yeah, but you don't understand. Every time you come on here and speak, you're being recorded. It's being transmitted and stored, regardless of whether it's me or Clubhouse.
You're magnifying it, though. You're making it worse on purpose.
Yeah, but this is me. This is me doing Clubhouse. This is me doing Charlie Kirk. And one day you're gonna have enough strength and courage to do what we're doing, and you won't be worried about the repercussions, and you'll finally be free in your life.
No, no, guys. Testing your ideas in private, okay? You test the ideas in private, and then you push them, okay? Charlie Kirk didn't have these debates like day one. Rome was not built in a day, okay? You're trying to make the whole childhood public. It's not a good thing.
That's just your opinion.
It is my opinion, but it's true. So don't make the childhood public. Make the adult public.
See, you're worried about your brand reputation, and I offer a brand reputation building service on top of my English as a second language.
It's not my brand. It's the ideas brand.
See, I work for Pronunciation Workshop. We help non-native English speakers speak American English in less than 48 hours. Go to pronunciationworkshop.com and speak with Dr. Jordan Gruber. He's going to help you speak extremely clear and concise English to help you in your business life and in your communication, even in your native tongue. Go to pronunciationworkshop.com.
Yeah, I have medical problems. Yeah.
Okay, this is the Tao Te Ching.
Powers. Man follows the earth. Earth follows the universe. The universe follows the Tao. The Tao follows only itself. 26. The heavy is the root of the light. The unmoved is the source of all movement. Thus the master travels all day without leaving home. However splendid the views, she stays serenely in herself. Why should the lord of the country flit about like a fool? If you let yourself be blown to and fro, you lose touch with your root. If you let restlessness move you, you lose touch with who you are. 27. A good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent upon arriving. A good artist lets his intuition lead him wherever it wants. A good scientist has freed himself of concepts and keeps his mind open to what is. Thus the master is available to all people and doesn't reject anyone. He is ready to use all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called embodying the light. Speak American English in less than 40. What is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. 28. Know the male, yet keep to the female. Receive the world in your arms. If you receive the world, the Tao will never leave you, and you will be like a little child. Know the white, yet keep to the black. Be a pattern for the world. If you are a pattern for the world, the Tao will be strong inside you, and there will be nothing you can't do. Know the personal, yet keep to the impersonal.